This is Dubious Code, here to talk about shallow and deep copies in lists. So this is something that I've seen trip people up, and it helps to understand how these lists work. Let's say I have a list, and then inside of it is another object, in this case another list. So I have a list of names, and that's within another list. So let's say I then go change that name. So the first element, instead of Jim Jones, we get James Jones. So because the name is the object in the list, what do you think prints out if we run this? Yes, in fact, the list 1 is now James Jones. So the list 1 changed when we changed this element, when we changed this object. Now let's make another list. So list 2 equals list 1, and we'll take a slice of it. And so if we don't change anything, both of these are going to be Jim Jones. Jim Jones, Jim Jones. So what do you think happens if we change name? If we change it from Jim Jones to James Jones? We know that list 1 changes to Jim, but does list 2? And the answer is indeed that it does. We have 2 James Joneses that we make. When we take the slice, we make a shallow copy. So when we change this object, both of these lists are changed. Now this is, of course, different than if we were using simple things like integers. If we make this list of integers and then I go say list 1, the first element, instead of a 1, it's a 20. Then we've operated on the object in list 1, but not list 2. So shallow copy, basically, if it's a more advanced data type, when you change it, it will affect, it's done by references and not values. Let's see. Another little subtlety to it is if I say list 1 instead of name now it's equal to names 2 equals Alan Allenson. Then my second list won't have changed. My first list, I changed my first list, but I didn't change my second list. And that's because I didn't actually change this initial name object. And in a, something to be aware of, if I rename this whole object, let's see, I'll rename the object, but I won't assign it to list 1. Then they're both indeed Jim Jones. And what's happening here is I've put this this name in the list, and I've kind of overwritten that variable here, but I haven't overwritten these values. If I wanted to change those values, I could retrieve it from list 1. So I could say list 1 0 sub 0. This is now Jim equals James, and I'll see that they're both James Jones again. So now I'm actually get back and reference this name. I've been talking about shallow copies. There is a deep copy function in Python. I'm not going to show it right now, but be aware of it. If you wanted to copy everything so they don't reference each other, you're going to want a deep copy as one way of doing it. Thank you. This is Dubious Code.